to our meeting. What we're going to be discussing today is how Liaison Group is catalyzing the early recoveries from the unprecedented challenges. I would like to thank our esteemed clients for finding time to join us today. Before we get to the main bit or to the main agenda, I'll nominate one of us to pray. Lazarus, you can pray for us.
Thank you, Frida. Let's sum also of your prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for the gift of life you've given to us. We thank you for our companies, our liaison, and all the companies of our clients who are in here. At this particular moment where we are having this pandemic, we thank you that you've given us health. We are all alive, very healthy. As we go through this meeting, we pray that you guide us, you place your right hand on us, and we achieve our intended goals. In Jesus' name we prayed. Amen. Over to you, Frida.
Okay, so to briefly take you through the program is that we're going to have a brief introduction from Sarah Sirowe. She's going to be one of our key speakers. From there, we will invite our group managing director, Mr. Tom Mulwa, to give us an overview of the company strategy at this time, or just an overview of the group. Then from there, we're going to invite Mr. Fred Nyayeka, who is going to give us an overview of LFS, the plans that they have, that is Liaison Financial Services. That's a pension and investment department. Then we'll go back to our managing director. After that, we're going to be done. We'll invite our clients to chime in, give us your comments, questions, or anything that you have to say to us. So over to you, Sarah. You can start off.
Thank you, Frida. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and you're all welcome to our presentation this afternoon. Thank you, our esteemed clients, for honoring our invite. We don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'll introduce the presenters this afternoon. Myself, the General Manager, Liaison Uganda, Sarah Sirowe. Then I also introduce our Group MD, Mr. Tom Mulwa. Mr. Mulwa, say hello to our clients.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Then our third presenter is Mr. Fred Nyayeka, who is our regional consultant for pensions. Fred, say hello to the audience.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Fred. Like Frida mentioned, our topic of discussion this afternoon is how Liaison is catalyzing early recoveries from unprecedented challenges. Basically, it is to brief you, our clients, to take you to brief you on what we are doing and what we have done to enable you to go through the current challenges, the current lockdown challenges. The contents of our presentation this afternoon. First, I'll take you through our background, who Liaison is, And it's about liaison. I'll take you through about liaison, who liaison is. Liaison started in 1981 as an independent financial non-banking, an independent non-banking financial organization. And we are specializing in risk and insurance. We do healthcare, we do pensions, and investment consultancy. At Liaison, we pride ourselves on our ability to provide unmatched services to our clients. Our services to our clients, like I mentioned above, we do risk and insurance, and in risk, we do risk management. And we do risk management, we do risk identification, we do risk analysis, we do risk evaluation and monitoring of the risk. Then insurance broking, we also do insurance broking, and since 1981, we pride ourselves delivering differentiated services through the overall management of your insurance programs. We do hospitality, we have an arrangement with Satib, we do bank assurance, and also do reinsurance broking. We do human capital benefits, which include group life, mortgage protection, and the related classes. Healthcare, we do management of the healthcare programs, including medical schemes, which are management of healthcare schemes, which are both insured and third-party administration. We do pensions. We also do investments on the group level. Our network, primarily we are in East Africa, but we have our partners. We have our regional partners in Johannesburg, in South Africa, with Satib. We have globally, we have in London, the Liaison of London, and China, we are in Beijing. So we are in East Africa, and also we have a wide network of partners globally. Our growth base, we are targeting to, by 2030, to expand. Our strategy is to expand other regions in Africa. We are already in East Africa. We are looking at covering West Africa, Central Africa, and Northern Africa. So by 2030, we should be in a position to do business in those regions. At this point in time, thank you so much for your audience, and I would like to welcome our Group Managing Director to come and take us through our next session. Thank you. You're welcome, Mr. Murwa.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And I want to join Sarah in thanking everybody this afternoon for joining us in this webinar. Like Sarah said, we appreciate that you could spare a moment within these challenging times to join us in some thought process as to how Liaison is catalyzing quick recovery or quick walk through the COVID environment because this pandemic, as like everybody else has said, has been unprecedented. So I just thought to share with you a few slides on some research done in the first few months and set the stage for some conversation and discussions. My intention is to provoke your thoughts so that we can have some engaging discussions after my presentation and that one of Fred and Sarah, which will come immediately after me. So if I may just start by taking you back to sometime in October, November last year, the Risk Management Society International, based out of New York, did some research on what was deemed to be the global risk landscape in 2020 going to 2025. You will notice from what we are projecting on the screen that climate change was deemed to be the biggest threat. Cybersecurity came next, and geopolitics, the politics between US, China, Russia, and everybody else was deemed to be the third largest risk. And you can see there marked in blue that pandemics and infectious disease was not coming in the top 3. So out of the 10 risks which are outlined there, pandemic and infectious disease was not deemed to be a big threat. So that was in October, November, December last year, in 2019. So when COVID-19 came knocking, we were completely taken aback as business, as government, and the whole world. You know, this invisible threat, this invisible enemy came from nowhere and overtook everybody else, and nobody anticipated that. No wonder we were quickly in denial all over the world as to whether COVID was real. So that is the environment we are operating. You can see how quickly that ball, the blue ball, picked from down there, number 6, number 5, to the clear round ledger in the very red mapping as the most dangerous risk, the most catastrophic risk the world is facing. So this is just to provoke your thought as to where this invisible enemy came from. And that's why, of course, COVID has paralyzed all of us, all over the world. So further research has been done from January to April. And I want to quote from Actis. Actis is one of the largest private equity firms. They invest in over 100 companies across the globe. They've been doing research from January to April this year. And I just want to quote from their research in March. If you look in March, you will notice that very few businesses were actually concerned about COVID as a real threat to their business. That is where you see 31%. 18% were not concerned at all about COVID. 31% were somewhat concerned about COVID. But going into April, 32% started to get very worried about COVID, and 39% were somewhat concerned. The research for May is not out yet, but I understand from the initial numbers that 32% will be jumping to something like 80% as businesses and governments and the whole world gets very much concerned about the impact of COVID. So no wonder the US president and many other leaders were in denial in January and February as to whether COVID was a real threat or not. businesses the same. So progressively, COVID has been hitting us all over the world, and these numbers reflect that fact. So moving on, a further question has been asked as to how long the current disruption will last. And another question has been asked on what is the top 3 concerns in the short run. The biggest concern for government and business at the moment is employee and healthcare well-being at 81%. Civil unrest comes second at 65%. And running out of cash for both business and government is at 51%. So clearly, employee health and well-being, civil unrest, and running out of cash are the top 3 concerns in the short run. Moving on, another question has been asked in the research. And the question was, how long do you expect the current disruption to last? This is the most interesting part. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting slide, and the results are also extremely very interesting. And I want us to engage on this particular slide further. You will notice that 38% of the respondents believed that COVID from April this year will be with us for 3 to 6 months. 26% believe that COVID is going to be with us for another 6 to 12 months. And 12% believe COVID is going to be with us for 1 to 2 years. Recent numbers are showing progressively that COVID may be with us longer. This is because it will depend on whether we get a vaccine or not, or whether we are able to build enough immunity to fight the pandemic. Now, to be honest, nobody really knows. Even the top scientists don't even know how long it's going to be with us. But clearly, it is going to be with us for some time. Not good news, but it's a fact. The next slide is also very interesting. The question was, please rank your top 3 concerns in the long term. The biggest number, 96%, indicated that we are going to go into a recession similar to that one we experienced in the great financial recession of 2008. That is the top one. 96% believed that we are going to go into a recession, and it is seemingly looking like we are actually going into a recession. Another 45% believe we are going to have civil unrest. This is because the bigger numbers of the population are going to lack food, are going to lack social well-being, and they will resort into social unrest. And another bigger number believe that we shall lose key customers. Those are businesses. So these are real research output, that most likely we shall go into a recession, most likely we shall have a civil unrest, most likely we shall have lost some of our customers in our businesses. Now, moving on, an additional question has been asked. Which area of your business is most at risk from COVID? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to really focus on this particular slide, because most of the businesses think that demand or sales will collapse. This is coming from the fact that every businesses have been affected in terms of operation, and the buying power is also getting depleted. But a bigger number also believed supply chains will be most affected. This is true, especially now with all the lockdown and people not able to produce and supply goods the usual way. Then the supply chain came out second at 31%. And also a bigger number believed that possibly there will be planned mergers and disposable processes of businesses. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to be, the angel for doom, because I do believe we have solutions to these challenges. Now, Liaison Group serves a cross-section of clients in the entire business ecosystem. We are consulting for governments and state agencies. We are also consulting for financial services, banking and insurance. We are also consulting in manufacturing and allied industries. We are also consulting for commercial and services. And we are also consulting for energy and mining infrastructure. We are also very big in construction and related sectors of housing. And we're also big in education, tourism, and agriculture. Some of these sections of the economy have been affected more than others. We will not have a fit-all prescription for all of them, but there's something for everybody to pick out of this COVID environment. So I will be back with what we think is an appropriate response to the challenges we are facing. Now, in Uganda, if you look into the screen, we have faced this lockdown situation. It was necessary because safeguarding life was important from the government desk. That has worked because the numbers of infections and deaths out of the COVID are actually very low compared to other nations in Africa. So there is also need for balance, and we are happy that there has been easing of the lockdown in the last directive from the government. But we are trading in a very difficult environment, and we want to share with you what we think is a fitting advisory on how to navigate through these challenges and see ourselves through so that we don't extinct, we don't expire, we don't collapse with COVID. And I'm sure by the end of this conversation, we shall have an interesting interactions as to what is it we can do to sail through. So I'll invite Sarah to highlight on some of our operational efficiencies we are creating on the risk and insurance side. And she will then talk, of course, invite Fred to highlight on mitigating factors in our pension advisory department. And then I'll be back to speak to you again on what we think is a way forward. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, MD, for that elaborate discussion and highlights.
Now, Sarah, if I may just quickly, sorry to interrupt you, I want to encourage our clients and the audience at large, if you may use the chat corner and send us some questions or comments so that we may recap on those. We may create some efficiencies out of this meeting. So we encourage you to use the chat so that we may get your questions and comments. Thank you very much. Sarah, back to you.
Right. Thank you, MD, for that elaborate discussion and highlights. I'll take you through the next session, and it is our promise to you, our clients. Like MD said, if I may note from the preamble, since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, That was around March this year. We've been consistently being dedicated. Liaison Uganda has been dedicated, and we've been consistently available to serve you, our customers, courtesy of our comprehensive business plan. Our promise to you, our dear customers, is in 3 steps. And at Liaison, we commit to continue providing you seamless service as follows. And this is in 3 steps. In terms of general business, what we are doing is negotiating insurance premium financing at very low rates to simplify on the premium payments, considering the current challenges, cash flow challenges. We are also arranging virtual engagements where necessary to keep in touch with you, our dear customers, and also to keep distance and to keep you safe, and at the same time, make sure that we are in touch with you. Then we are also negotiating credit extensions where we feel you're not able to honor your payment plans, premium payment plans on time due to the lockdown challenges, and also which has greatly affected your cash flows. We ensure that we are sending renewal invitations, quotation requests online and on time. And we also ensure that all documents, insurance stickers, and endorsements are delivered to you in time, and there is no lapse in the cover. So we also we keep encouraging our clients, and we thank you and encourage you to continue paying the premiums by electronic transfers and mobile money during this period. Our step 2 is on insurance claims, and we encourage you, our dear customers, to notify us as soon as possible when the loss or accident occurs. This will enable us to report all the claims, register the claims within the required notification period as stated in the policies that we set up. So you don't wait until the lockdown is lifted, then you report a claim. Please use any means. We can request you to use any means, WhatsApp, text messages, and notify us immediately. We do register claims online and all supporting documents. Paperwork are sent to the underwriters for settlement online. Discharge vouchers are also subsequently shared with you, and payment through electronic fund transfer. Our step number 3, our promise number 3 is on customer care, where we reassure you that our customers that we shall continue at Liaison. We strive to providing continued customer service. We shall keep in touch with you at all times, and also reassure you that we'll be in touch. We'll be updating you on our operations, our daily operations, so that we make sure that we stay very close to you. Our IT team is already on alert and to try to be able to troubleshoot any communication challenges that may arise. Thank you so much for your audience. And at this point, I would like to welcome our regional consultant for pensions to come and take us through the next session. Fred, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sarah, and good afternoon, everyone. Mine will be to take you through the pension side. Indeed, COVID-19 has rocked the foundation of social security globally, and pensions as a pillar of social security has actually been shaken globally, not only here in Uganda. Now, mine is very, very simple. Let's let's look at the effects of this pandemic in the context of the retirement benefit sector. And what we have seen in Uganda, and this is not only in Uganda, but in other jurisdictions also, is that we are having disruptions in contributions as pension schemes are funded mainly by contributions and investment income. Contributions as a major source is being affected in this case. This is one of the immediate challenges that we have seen. Now, tied to that is that global financial markets have been shaken and have collapsed in most cases. Most shares are trading at below valuation because of no production or minimal production globally. And this is directly affecting the performance of the investments. And this is where the pension assets, so the accumulated assets are being affected because the underlying assets are underperforming, whereas the inflows in terms of contributions are also being disrupted. On operational side, we've seen lots of disruption in operations. We do not have we no longer have physical meetings. Withdrawal process, which is quite tedious and involves a lot of sharing of documents, has also been disrupted. So this is a nutshell, basically, how this pandemic has affected the retirement benefit sector. Moving on, we'll look at how, as a liaison group, how prepared were we or are we? Now, here I am very glad that as a liaison, not only because of this, but because of our comprehensive business continuity plan, we did roll it out immediately. The lockdown came in, and our staff, as the MD did emphasize, the most important thing has been the people. And what we have ensured is the safety of our clients and safety of our staff. So that has seen our staff continue to provide the same services, but now at the comfort of their home for security reasons. And we are ensuring that they are all safe wherever they are. On the client servicing side, our web-based administration system has come in handy. Most of you are already and are using this system, and even before, and we have strived to add more during this period. So in a nutshell, we've continued to interact with our clients through these new channels. On the other side, we've also ensured that for quick decision-making, we've empowered our staff in decision-making, and that has really kept us on top of all the developments in our schemes that we are managing. Moving on, we look at the immediate challenges for us now. As the pension sector, our main immediate challenge is basically the risks that is posed to the accumulated assets. Remember, pension assets constitute a substantial portion of our GDP. And one of the things that we are looking at, and the risk that is now posed, is posed on the portfolio. We are looking at structuring this portfolio to respond to the current challenges. And this involves what we call rebalancing of portfolios, because there are a number of factors which I will mention shortly that now warrant the rebalancing of our portfolios. I have mentioned about reduced contributions. We have some organizations that have actually started taking pay cuts, and this directly means that in terms of contributions, because salaries are the base of contributions are reducing. We've had cases where the UBRA has already issued some guidelines. Most organizations, because of cash flow, are not now able to make contributions. And this is not only affecting these, but also affecting the first pillar, the NSSF, where the NSSF has not been able to receive contributions from most organizations. And that also has extended even to the taxman, where the taxman has had to negotiate with some employers. I've mentioned about some employers taking pay cuts, employees, and that filters into the pension contributions. That again means that most employers are not able to remit contributions in time as a result of cash flow issues. We are yet to see mass payouts, but we anticipate that with prolonged effect of this COVID-19, we expect most organizations, especially in the worst hit sectors, to have mass retrenchments, and that would mean that there will be need for immediate liquidity in form of mass payouts from retirement schemes. There has been debate, and this is something that has been more factual than more political. The disruption caused by the current proposal, there is a proposal in Parliament to have members of the NSSF access at least 20% of their savings as of now. There is a lot of debate around it, but if this is to pass, then we are going to have lots of disruptions to retirement benefit schemes in Uganda, given that the significance and the size of the NSSF will obviously have effect on the pension schemes or the occupational pension schemes. What is our response? On our part, we have ensured that our data, because data management is core to scheme administration, and we have ensured that through a VPN, even without accessing our offices, we have continued to update and ensure that member records are up to date. We are able to run all the processes of joining, of distribution of income, and also on withdrawal. So our database has continued to be up to date, though remotely. We have been able to accomplish and ensure that we are fully compliant. We've been able to have all the statutory audits for December year ends completed as we speak. And we have also been able to complete all the Q1, that is 31st of March or Q3, depending on the scheme's year end, accounts prepared and presented to boards of trustees. As we move on, just finalizing, what are we committing to you? What we are committing to you in these times? One is our support, which we have continued to provide. And first is the online support, where through our Liaison SaaS online pensions system, members are able to access all their statements, including their historical balances. We are able to have webinars and we'll be communicating further. We have a number of topics coming up as Liaison, and we are having board meetings. Our board of trustee meetings continues uninterrupted, and we continue to have virtual board meetings as usual. The other one is on direct support, and we have, you have our numbers, and we do provide that. You have access to all the staff at 24 hours, and we are able to continue providing that report. In terms of report back, we continue to prepare administration reports, which are shared with the trustees and to clarify any information, and generally provide help on any where need be. We move on. That is basically what I've emphasized on. That is our pension online service, which has come in very, very handy. And it has actually ensured that our services remain uninterrupted. Just to sum up, as we move on, where do we see the future into? As the MD has emphasized, nobody really knows when this thing, how long this pandemic will last. And to that extent, as your partner, what we've done and what we are doing now is having round talks with investment managers to ensure that we realign the portfolios to mitigate the hit on the investments. So whatever losses, everything has a good and bad side, and investments, we always say, there are very good sides for investment side, and we are in discussion with all our fund managers to ensure that as pension schemes, as trustees of pension schemes, we position your schemes to take advantage of the current circumstances. We are also in discussions with the regulator to see how best to assist trustees or employers who have issues, but this is on a case-by-case basis, and we'll be assisting any organization that may have challenges resulting as a result of this pandemic. Lastly, we are doing a lot of strategic planning on investments and technology as a group. So we assure you that we will always be with you in the circumstances, and you can feel safe that your retirement savings are well taken care of. With that, I will sum it at that and invite Sarah.
All right. Thank you, Fred. And I'll take you to the next slide.
So, Sarah, it's me now on that slide on a lockdown.
Sorry, MD. This slide is for MD. I welcome MD to take you through the last bit of our presentation. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I think, ladies and gentlemen, you can see we are coming from a lockdown, and I'm sure this particular door is in the process of being sprayed again because we are moving from a total lockdown to a semi-lockdown. So the big question is, so what? I gave you some group numbers in the initial slides. The good news is Sarah has come out with what Liaison deems to be our catalyst in making your life a little bit softer. And also Fred has highlighted how we are responding in our pension company to make sure that all your retirement investment is not washed away by this pandemic. So what exactly is our game plan at Liaison Group? You know, we've got our staying punchline slogan, what we live with every day, that we live today and laugh tomorrow. So living with that as our key mantra, we are insisting that we must do business, because we must do business to safeguard livelihoods of Ugandans. We must do business to safeguard the livelihood of Ugandans and avoid a situation where people die of loss of livelihood, hunger, or otherwise than COVID itself. I had highlighted that we must safeguard demand and sales for businesses so that businesses must remain afloat. When businesses remain afloat, government remains afloat as well, because they'll be able to collect taxes and people will be able to have their livelihoods out of the business. So what we are insisting on at Liaison is that we must play offensive rather than defensive. And to assist our clients to play offensive, we are working, like Sarah has highlighted and Fred has also added on it, that we are helping and catalyzing our clients to create operational efficiencies so that they may remain in business through technology, even in situations of lockdown. We do appreciate that people are the most important anyway. And even as we support and drum support for the government and WHO guidelines of staying safe by sanitizing, washing hands, wearing masks, and social distancing, we are insisting that we must do business in that circumstance so that we may guarantee livelihoods. And we are very determined as a business to assist our clients in all the innovative ways of staying in business. One of our clients has been very innovative. During the lockdown, they actually created dormitories inside their factory so that they are able to produce 24 hours. And now that there's a partial lockdown, they have enough stock to actually sell. Because if as a business you stay out of the marketplace, by the time you come back, you will find your brand has vanished and other brands may actually take your share of the market. So businesses must remain present even in this environment. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to come back after COVID or even during COVID. The good news in Africa, we have realized that we are building enough immunity in the circumstances. We've got fewer deaths because I think our immunities are high. And if we stay in business, then it will be easier, right, for us to weather through the COVID environment. So we are encouraging our clients to remain very innovative, employ more technology, and stay in business. We are hoping ourselves, both using technology, working from home, virtual environment, and using our very elaborate business plan, as highlighted by Sarah, to support all our clients through this pandemic environment. So I want to assure you that Liaison is there for you in all our sections, in risk and insurance, in healthcare, and in pension, to make sure that our clients sail through these difficult times. So let me stop there and wish you good health, stay safe, stay well, and we shall overcome. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and I will stand by for any questions.
So Sarah, you can take us through the team members, and then we will wait for our clients to give us any questions.
Frida, as we welcome the questions from our audience, I take this opportunity to introduce our service team at Liaison Uganda. On top, we have our Group Managing Director, Mr. Tom Murwa, myself, the General Manager, Liaison Uganda. We have our Regional Consultant, Mr. Fred Nyayeka. We have Florence Bwerenga, our Finance Manager. We have Mr. Vitalis Omondi, Head of Fund Accounting. We have Mr. Chidu Moses, our Manager Pensions. We have Godfrey Mabilizi, Senior Consultant for Claims. We also have Lazarus Imnata, our Underwriting Consultant, and Geraldine Chomgasho for pensions as well. We are a big team, as you may see from the slide. So we just want to reassure you that we are here to serve you, and please contact us. Our contacts will be shared, and we are at your service. Thank you. Over to you, Frida.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah. And thank you all for your wonderful presentation. I can see Mr. Vishnu Narayan from Chinyara.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Do you have a question or
afternoon.
anything? Good afternoon.
No, good afternoon. Thank you very much for Liaison Group for giving us such a support even during this pandemic situation. And I'm satisfied with their services, and that is from my side. And this is good platform where we are interacting and sharing the idea, sharing the impact of pandemic and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vishnu.
Okay, I'll pick out somebody else that I can see here. Winnie from SGA. Do you have a comment for us? I think Winnie can't hear us. We will go to Juliet. Juliet from SPEDAG. think maybe we're experiencing some network issues. Back to you, Sarah.
All right. Thank you very much, Frida. And thank you, our dear customers, for your time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the presenters, for the time this afternoon and the wonderful presentation. Our clients, we just want to reassure you that we are here for you. Please contact us. And we really appreciate for making time to join us this afternoon for this presentation. We shall share the slides with you on email for future reference. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
I can just see Juliet is back. If maybe we can give her a minute if she'd like to comment.
Sorry, Frida.
I'm saying that I can see Juliet is back.
Okay.
Hello, Juliet. I think she can't hear us. It's okay. We'll just proceed.
So thank you, everybody. Stay safe, and we talk to you soon.
Thank you.